Good morning, bedheads. Click. How are you today? Karen from Ask the Spirit Guides. This is Coffee with Karen. And we all have our little bedheads this morning. So that's why I call you bedheads, in case you're wondering. So I want to talk about this mug a little bit. We have a lot to talk about today. So it might feel a little disjointed. Just I got a postcard or a card full of little things, action steps we can take, and just some personal stuff that we can start doing for ourselves. But okay, let's talk about this mug real quick. So this is the season she will make beautiful things, not perfect things, but honest things that speak to who she is and who she is called to be. Okay? So I kind of like for right now, for where we're at, and kind of really what the message from yesterday's Coffee with Karen was, which was, why are you just waiting? And we got to the bottom of that message from the SGs. It was about why are you waiting to do your inner work, basically. Okay. So I kind of like the saying, like, this is the season she will discover beautiful things within herself, not perfect things, but honest things that speak to who she is and who she is called to be. And put in he, if that obviously applies to you. Okay. So this is the season he will discover beautiful things within himself, not perfect things, but honest things that speak to who he is and who he is called to be. So that is Morgan Harper Nichols. I think that says Nichols. That's the quote. So let's kind of hang on to that, but I kind of want to change it to instead of she will make beautiful things, she will discover beautiful things within herself. Okay. So lots to talk about. So the first thing in terms of like discovering things within ourselves. So you guys remember if you listened to Coffee with Karen yesterday, that the message from the spirit guides was, why are you just waiting? It was why are, with just an R, you, just a you, just waiting. Okay. If you missed that episode, I will go ahead and post it right here. After this one's over, it'll pop up right here in the corner. Okay. So because I thought it was really helpful, I thought for me it was very helpful. I pulled out the dowsing rods and asked clarifying questions about that. And they really want us to be going inward right now. Okay. And that's where that's where the magic is. It just is for each of us. Okay. So they do have another message today that is related, and I am going to ask some more clarifying questions. So because of this, well, here's an amazing thing. I do watch, I think it's Spirituality with Sam. Okay. Is anyone, well, I know several people in the community caught this yesterday. So I get home last night. I went out to dinner last night, which is why I didn't end up posting. And I get home and it was like 9:30 and I just sit down to see what's going on. And there are certain people who pop up and I like to watch for spiritual messages. And so Spirituality with Sam is one of them. I will post her channel below, okay, in the description of this video. So anyways, she posted her video let's see, it was like 9:30. I think it had said 5 hours because I was like, did she post before me or after me? I don't think Sam, it doesn't matter, but I don't think she's on, I don't think she watches this channel. But the message between what her guides told her and what my guides said yesterday, oh my gosh, I was like, mind blown, to be honest. Like the validation, one, because Sam is very in tune. Her clairs are all, I don't know if all her clairs are developed, but yeah, she's got it going on. And she's been doing it. She's developed her clairs way earlier in life than I've even delved into any of this stuff. So the fact that her message from her guides was almost exactly the same, and she posted after me. What it did for me, if I had posted after her, I would have been like, oh, I hope I didn't pick up like on her messaging or whatever. But the fact that I had recorded like yesterday morning and then I didn't watch hers till last night was really kind of cool validation. When I was going through the comments of my video yesterday, and I caught at least 4 people who said, Karen, did you see Spirituality with Sam? They're like, oh my gosh, the message is the same. I'm like, I know. It was incredible. So right there alone, you guys, I know we want to try to control things outside of ourselves. We always do. And because it's so chaotic, and it's so concerning. It's so concerning that I think that's why we tend to focus so much outside of ourselves. But the message is very clear right now that we need to be going inward. And we're not in a position to argue with the higher realms. I mean, why would we be arguing with the higher realms about that? Okay. So I am going to be on us. You, me, I'm going to be nudging. I'm going to keep nudging because yesterday the SGs said, our SGs, because I had them look into all of call in all of our spirit guides. And they said only 40% of the community here, this community, is doing inner work right now. Okay. If you've done inner work in the past and you haven't done it for a while, get back to it. It's time to do it right now. Okay. Because maybe all of us have done some inner work throughout our lives, right? I'm just back to it full blown now. And I think that is what is expected. The higher realms, obviously we have free choice, but the higher realms that can't be more clear about the messaging right now. They're like, you guys, if you would start working on yourselves, you will find all the answers you need. Okay. So obviously in the spirit circle, we have some support in there for working on ourselves because we're doing the shadow workbook. Okay. So it's over there. It's way over there underneath some cards. Otherwise I'd pull it out. It is listed below in the description. However, for those of you who don't want to be in the membership or just don't join memberships or can't afford to join the membership, I am going to start because I want to. My sister's going to be like, why are you doing this? Because this is what I do. This is how I roll. I am going to start, hopefully I'm going to announce tomorrow, I'm going to start a 30-day challenge. Okay. It's going to be on the public channel. And you will come through. I'll have you sign up for a newsletter because I'm starting to get the newsletter rolled out for the community. One, because I want to get people on a newsletter in case for whatever reason this channel gets, mucked with. Because if it gets mucked with, I can still send video links to people through a newsletter because I can have private videos sent through a newsletter. Cut, clear, cancel. We're not going to assume that's going to happen. I'm going to knock on wood. But anyways, so I will hopefully by tomorrow have a newsletter link set up and we'll start the 30-day challenge soon. It's going to be very simple. And I'm hoping to have a Facebook group, even though I dropped out of Facebook, but I'll sign up again. Because if we have a Facebook group, it will be private then, and we can talk about what we're learning in the 30-day challenge. So watch for that tomorrow, probably. I'll announce that tomorrow. Okay. And I'm trying to think if it's going to be, I think we're going to do a couple things, but this is the card deck based on today's message from our spirit teams. This is the card deck they wanted me to pull from. Okay. And it makes sense that they dropped this card out of my oracle cards to pull cards from this based on the message. And I'll show you that in a minute. Okay. But I had forgotten that I had bought this guided journal that went with these oracle cards. Okay. So I think the 30-day challenge is, one, it's going to be about doing morning pages, which I'll talk about tomorrow. Okay. When I disclose the challenge, it'll be about writing morning pages. And then we might do a little bit in here. Okay, with this, because this is kind of what they want us to do with the outside stuff so that the inner work can be done. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm leaning, but I'll see, what I come up with for tomorrow, because I want it to be super simple for everybody and then have a little sharing going on in the Facebook group. Okay, so a couple of things that I'm aware of that's going on. First of all, if you haven't joined, if you're interested and you haven't joined Bernie Sanders' email list, I highly recommend you do that. So I will list his, I better write down what I'm telling you I'm going to post. I will list his website in the description, so you can sign up for his newsletter, okay? The reason I would encourage you to sign up for his newsletter, I got to list spirituality with Sam, is that I just got an email that there is a nationwide Zoom call in Wisconsin. Because I'm in Wisconsin, there is a nationwide Zoom call tomorrow on Thursday to start organizing around Bernie's agenda, Bernie and AOC's agenda. Okay. So I'm wondering if other states have also got, like, if you're in a different state, if you were on his newsletter, you might have gotten that information. Okay. So we can't really post. My sister, my nephews and I can post links in our community, but other people can't. It's just a safeguard for spamming that we have turned off. So if you have, I don't know how to communicate. I'm going to post the Wisconsin Zoom link down below. Okay. Plus the Bernie Sanders. So if you're in Wisconsin and you didn't get that email, I'm going to post the link to sign up for that Zoom call. Okay. If you're in other states, then just make sure you sign up for his newsletter so you catch the next one. Okay. Because I don't know how you guys could share unless you want to go on to BlueSky in our account. If you go into BlueSky at Ask the Spirit Guides, if you want to do that, there's a link. I'll link that too. I'm not really going onto BlueSky that much, so I apologize if people have been trying to contact me there because it can be a little too much, but so I will link BlueSky. If you guys want to post, if other states got links to Zoom calls for tomorrow, because I'm having a feeling maybe all states, I'm hoping that it wasn't just Wisconsin, that you guys can post them there on BlueSky under our account. Okay, under the Ask the Spirit Guides account. So then you can find for each other states. So, okay, very good. The People's Union is calling for a no shopping weekend. No shopping anywhere. Okay. They just got done with the Walmart boycott. I know they're doing a General Mills or Nestle's. I think it's Nestle's. Maybe it's the same company. I don't know. It's Nestle's, I think. But this weekend, it's called the People's Union. I'm on their website. I'm on their newsletter. So the People's Union. Okay, I'll post that too. We're going to have lots of links down below. The People's Union. So this weekend, Friday through Sunday. So if you can participate, that would be amazing, which would mean just buy your stuff before Friday and after Sunday. Okay. So we have to keep this momentum going. The world made a huge impact on Leon. Huge. Okay. We have to keep it going. Okay. Let's see what else is going on. Obviously, so if you go to 5051, again, I'll post it down below in the description. You will find, I would sign up for their newsletter too, although I don't think I get emails from them. I don't think I'm getting emails from them, but I go on their website after each we're not calling it protests, we're calling it protections. For each protection that they're hosting or rally, let's say. Thank you for whoever reminded me that Mother Teresa refused to go to any protests. She'd only go to rallies. So we're calling it, we talked about this yesterday, we're calling it the protection of American democracy. So we're going to protections this weekend on the 19th. So if you're looking for the protection that's happening in your state, then you can go to 5051. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about, I watched Letitia James. Do you guys know who Letitia James is? She's the Attorney General in New York. Okay. And she is she spoke at the National Action Network. Okay, it was a National Action Network. And it was amazing. I'll try to find that video and put it in the thing too. I do have the video. I will put it. It was amazing. So she actually said a few things in there that prompted me to talk about this. But first of all, she called it the modern civil rights movement, that this is a modern civil rights movement. And I think now this is my uneducated white privilege way of saying this. So I'm not, I want to make sure that I just throw that out there in case I say something that's insensitive. I don't mean to. I'm going to try not to, obviously. But so modern civil rights movement. Okay. When I think of civil rights, when I think of the civil rights movement, I think of the Black movement. Okay. From the past. Okay. That's what I think of. Right now, I think the modern civil rights movement, although I would like to see how Letitia is describing that, because it's what she called it. So I haven't looked up how she's describing it, but obviously this is civil rights for everybody, right? But particularly people of color, again, and people who are different, the LGBTQ plus, or people who have different lifestyles, whatever. Okay. So it is going to take white people to continue standing up. It just has to. And so I want to look into what the modern civil rights movement, I really like that. And just being a part of this modern civil rights movement. The other thing that I was reminded of is that if we as a community want to learn how to do this, how to have be a part of a civil rights movement, we need to look to our Black sisters for that because they know how to do it. She even says, we've done this before. We know how to do this, and you know what? They do. I don't know how to do this. I haven't had to fight for my civil rights. I feel like I have to now, but I haven't, not even to the degree that they probably are feeling it. So I am going to be looking to our Black sisters for guidance on this. And so you let me know what you think about it. How do you resonate with that? How does your education and your perspective fly with that? But that sits right with me because Black women, from the minute that their families were brought here under slavery, have had to figure out and strategize and learn and how to survive and how to thrive and how to push back against adversity. They know how to push back and how to deal with adversity, probably more than anybody. So, and I could be wrong by anybody, but if we're going to follow, I think I'm going to look deeper into the National Action Network. And I'm looking for places to donate money to. One, I've donated to Bernie, and now I'm going to look at the National Action Network and see if that's another place to put some money. Okay. I feel more motivated to do that. And I'm not saying don't donate to the Democratic National Party or whatever, but I want to hear from them first what their plans are, because I think they don't know what to do right now. And the National Action Network does know what to do. And Bernie does know what to do. So I want to put my money in the places that do know what to do right now. That's just where I'm at. Okay, so let me know what you're thinking about, okay? Well, the one thing that Letitia said that I thought was amazing, she said, there's nothing more dangerous than a woman with a made-up mind. And she's like, and my mind is made up. So amazing. And of course, they're going after her now. They're going after her. They're trying to say that and you know what? I don't even give a shit if she did. Something with mortgage, like she put her father's name on, allegedly. I mean, I did look on Ground News. Anytime I hear anything from anybody anymore, I go right to Ground. I'll copy whatever and I'll go to Ground News to find out what's really being said. And it is in Ground News. But I'm waiting for more details about something with her mortgage. She applied for a mortgage and used her father's name or something. You know what? I don't give a shit at this point. You're telling me in the F-45 administration's going after her they're spending our money going after her for that. Well, that's political warfare, and I don't even give a shit if she did that. After all the stuff that they're doing, it's like, are you serious? Anyways, you know what? This is the season. We will discover beautiful things within ourselves. Not perfect things, but honest things. Okay? Anyways, that's just kind of where I'm at with the whole political stuff. So, and then I still have Kilmar on my mind. And I'm thinking, you know what? Actually, yes, he's on my mind for sure. Because you know what? He stands for something. I mean, he personally is on my mind, but as we all know, he stands for something greater, right? And Libby from Maestro Tarot, I'll post her thing below. I'm going to have so many. So Libby, she said today, I was watching a tarot reading that she did, and she made sense to me because she said what they're doing is they have so basically F-45 is the monkey, right? So let's just say not my monkey, not my circus, but unfortunately it is our monkey and it is our circus. We have a mug that says that, by the way. Apparently this is my monkey and this is my circus. So apparently F-45 is our monkey and this is our circus. So, we have a mug shop, in case you're wondering, but we have that on a mug. It's pretty funny. So, and I think that came from somebody in our community. So thank you for that. The reverse of that saying, So anyways, Libby had said, the monkey up front, which is F-45, that the people behind, the circus behind him are constantly, they basically will tell him to plant some seeds. And then if there's an uproar over the seed he's planted, they won't go for it. But if there's no uproar, then they will. Well, the latest one that he planted was about the El Salvador prisons and how they'll be sending homegrowns there. And that's the one he planted recently. So the question is, was there an uproar about it? I don't know. If there wasn't an uproar, then I thought it was an interesting perspective. I don't know how Libby knows that, but I thought it was maybe her guides are telling her that. I'm not sure, but it interesting perspective. And the question is, I mean, there should definitely be an uproar over that. That was disgusting. Disgusting. Because you know what the plan is then. I mean, the whole thing is just unfreaking believable. Again, inner work, people. Why do I feel like this is just so unbelievable, right? So we have to go inside to work on that. Anyway, so just watch him from now on when he plants these little seeds. Like they're planting the third term thing. Oh my gosh, like Steve Bannon is out just like talking to normal people and he just keeps bringing it up. And they're trying to desensitize us to that idea of the third term. So anyways, going back to Kilmar, I feel like I feel like there should be signs all over the United States that say, bring him home, because again, he represents a much bigger issue, a much bigger issue. So he is, and they're using him now for that. It's political, it's political warfare, basically using his life is what they're doing. So allegedly. Entertaining. This is very entertaining, isn't it? Okay, so these are just the things I've been thinking about. Oh my goodness. Let's see, did I cover everything? Okay, so let's go ahead and look at, let me know what you think. Always learning so much from you guys. I'm just throwing stuff out there that's on my mind. And, this is Holy Week, apparently. I think that's what it's called, right? I don't say apparently, but the only reason I said apparently is because I think that's what it's called, Holy Week. So really great behavior during Holy Week from the F45 administration. Okay, so this is the card, the Letting Go deck that they wanted us to read from today, but this was the message. All right, let me pull out my bullet journal with our other messages on here. And let's see. Okay, so like I said, okay. So for the last 3 days that I did messages, okay, they weren't quite in, 13th, 14th, and 15th of April. Why are you worried? Question mark. Why are you doubting? Was the next one. And why are you just waiting? All 3 days I asked clarifying questions, and the first two, why are you worried and why are you doubting? They said, trust God. Okay. When they said, why are you just waiting? Then their follow-up message was to love God, which means to love yourself, really, because the way you love God is to love yourself, because you are a part of God. So I'm just intuiting that right now. That's just what came to my mind. But we did a lot of clarifying with the dowsing rod yesterday, right? So again, you can watch that video at the end of this if you want it to be posted right there. So the message today, and I know you guys want a bunch of political messages, but I'm not going to keep questioning what the higher realm wants us to be doing. I mean, if you really have faith in God, if we all are on the spiritual journey, I'm not going to keep questioning them where they want us to go, right? So, but I am going to ask some clarifying questions with the dowsing rods right now. Okay. So they said, trust yourself. Okay. Trust yourself. And I said, how? And they spelled out inner work. They literally spelled that out. Okay. And then I did. Okay. So I originally asked them I asked them for a message from all of our spirit teams, okay, from the community, people will be watching now and in the future. So they first said, trust yourself. Okay, I asked for a personal message first, and then I asked for a political message. I said, well, give me a personal message. What do you want us to do for ourselves? And then what can you tell us politically? Like I was thinking they're going to say, what's his name? Smith is coming, Jack Smith is coming, something like that. I thought they'd say something like that. But the first message, a personal message, was trust yourself. And then I said, well, how do you want us to trust ourselves? And they said inner work. But then the political message was just trust God, just trust God. So we have gotten that trust God like 4 or 5 days in a row. And I know that's challenging because this is what I'm going to ask follow-up questions right now. Because if we're just trusting God, like, what does that mean specifically? Like, we need action steps. What's the action they want us to take? So let's go ahead and ask some clarifying questions about this. And I think it's interesting because some people yesterday, when the message was, we had this conversation about doing inner work, and that's where they want us to focus, And I still had people saying, well, can't you just ask when this whole thing's going to be over? No, you don't want to do the inner work. So, no, I don't, we're not there anymore. We're not at the, when is this going to be over thing, because it's too complicated. The timelines and the energy shifts and so much going on. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time to put our energy there. So we're going to go inside. And I know people hate that, but you know what? You're going to get to the 5D much quicker if you do inner work. That's the only way we're going to get there. It is. If you have a bunch of shadows and that you're not looking at, that you've been hiding for a long time, you've been repressing them for a long time, and you don't even know because it's unconscious. If you're not discovering those kind of things, you're going to be weighed down by that 3D energy. And so in order for us to move into that new space, which only makes sense, right? The more you clear the shit that's in your body and in your brain and your generational trauma, all that generational, whatever, all that kind of stuff. Um, all the stuff that's been passed down to us, and it's in our genes, and it's, just all the messaging that we've gotten our whole lives through society that just has beaten us down and made us feel certain ways and not loving ourselves and not trusting ourselves and not following our intuition. That if we don't get clear on those things, you will still live in the 3D because you can't, because that's where you've been. If you want to go somewhere different, you have to do something different. And so I'm super excited about doing this as a community because, one, we can encourage each other because it's not easy. It's not easy. It can be easy, but it's not going to be easy for some people. It can be, it just depends on everybody's experiences. So, but I think the more we clear, it's, the more you clear, the happier you get. Because if you're not sitting with the same pain over and over and over again, you find life somewhere else. It's kind of common sense, but I think we needed this, kind of batted over our heads. Okay. All right. So I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians, and all of those of the purest and highest light. I ask Archangel Michael to please protect this channel and this community so it is also of the highest and purest light. Amen. Okay, so you guys, hello, good morning. Good morning. Questions for you. Can you please call in, as always, all of our spirit teams from anyone who is watching this now and in the future? Just really everyone who's actively involved in this community. So your message today was trust yourself, right? And so yes, okay. And the best way to learn to trust ourselves is from the inner work. Is that what you're telling us? Yes. Okay. So the political message you had, so we've already obviously unpacked that a little bit. So the political message that you had for us, and you've actually had for the last 4 days or so, was just trust God. Yes. Okay. So, excuse me. So just trusting God, does that mean that all we do is our inner work? No. Meaning, I was going to say, I think I know what I'm going to say. Does it mean that we don't actively get involved in things like the Bernie Sanders Zoom call? No. The learning from Letitia James and the modern civil rights movement. No. Okay. So you're not asking us to stay in our indoors and not get involved in the protections of American democracy. No. Okay. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. So when you say just trust God, from my logical brain, it feels like you're saying, and you're saying let go, the letting go too, because that's a card you want us to pull, right? Okay. So you're talking about the stuff that's holding us back, basically. The stuff inside of each of us that's holding us back. Yes. But I just want to be clear, when you say just trust God, that means ultimately following our intuition. So when we're inspired by taking action, so inspired action, yes, okay. So we take inspired action and trust that God is leading us with that inspired action. Yes, okay. Now, when you say just trust God, are you telling us, well, I'm just going to ask this clear out because I don't think this is possible because I talked about this yesterday with astrology, where the astrology is now. It's different than it was in the 1930s and 40s. The planets, how they're aligned, are so different that I don't think what happened in World War II is possible to happen now. Okay. But I want to ask them again. We might have talked about that yesterday a little bit. But I need this encouragement and validation. Okay, just for me to not feel too overwhelmed with everything that F-45 is doing. Is what happened in World War II. Okay, so just we're on the same page. Okay. Are we going to experience that full-blown experience that they did in World War II? No. Okay, pretty wide swing too. Okay. So even though things are happening that look very similar to what might have been happening then, yes, the end result will be very different. Yes. Okay. And very different in a less horrifying way. Yes. Okay. Meaning, like, the end result was horrifying. The end result of World War II, in my opinion, was horrifying because what people found out, right? So, I mean, yeah, it ended, but it, talk about generational trauma, right? Think of their generational trauma. Holy schmoly. Okay, so if you're from Germany, or I mean, just everybody, I mean, there's so many people all over the world who have generational trauma behind that. Yes. Okay. And is that generational trauma being triggered right now? Yes. Okay. And that's why you want us to do the inner work. I mean, I have generational trauma from it because my grandfather fought in World War II. Okay. And so that whatever his experience was passed down to me in one way or another. But I have I wouldn't say generational trauma, but I just have trauma from even just learning about it. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's why it's so triggering to me. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter why you're being triggered. It's the fact that you're being triggered at all. That's what we're looking for on the inside, right? So, okay, they're saying yes. Okay. So just so we have reassurance, though, the action steps we're taking that we're inspired to do by God will result in a very positive outcome for the United States and the world. Yes. And by the end of 2025, will there be a positive outcome? And will there be an outcome that is based on love? Yes. Will there be an outcome that will fear drive everything that happens and the end result of what happens in 2025? No. Okay. I'm not sure I asked that right, but I know what I'm trying to say. So I know love is always the outcome. Love is always the end result, but I don't want to go through, they had to go through like 10 years, 15 years of fear and terror. Are we going to be experiencing that sort of fear and terror for 10 years? No. Okay. And is that astrologically, is that even possible? No. Oh, if you guys go back to the video yesterday, again, I'll post it right here. If you go back to that video, but look at the comments, a whole bunch of people looked up Neptune and Aries because I didn't have a whole bunch of detail. And thank you for doing that because I'm going to add what you can actually Google it too, you guys. A lot of people Googled it and added what they found, which was really positive. So that's where we're at, Neptune and Aries. So if you look at that and you trust God and you trust the astrology, it's impossible, even though it doesn't look that way at the moment. So, okay, let's pull a card real quick. Letting go. This will be listed. I love this deck. Again, I say that with every deck, but okay. I can't help it. You almost start to have a relationship with your cards, right? If you use them. I have a relationship with my cards. Okay. Well, yeah, because they give you so much guidance and support and help and all that. So, all right. So I've already said the prayer. So what message do you guys want us to have today that would support the trust yourself or just trust God, inner work, that sort of thing? What message do you want us to have today? So I kind of just wait for something to fly. Oh, okay. So do you see that? Like 3 of them just fell on me. Okay, let's just see if one of those or all of them are messages they want us to have. Okay, so these cards have messages on both sides. So it would actually be easy for me to read all 3 of them, but let's see which one they wanted us to have. So is there a card in the deck still you want me to pull? No. Okay, so there's a card in front of me that you want us to read? Yes. Okay, how about the one on the right? Yes. The one in the middle? No. And the one on the left? No. So just one card today? Yes. Okay. All right. I'll read the other 2 anyways, just for shits and giggles. Okay. So this is the one they wanted us to read. I don't know which side to read first. Let me see. Okay. So we'll read this first. Every life experience, no matter how tragic, contains a hidden lesson. That's a message from our guides today. Every life experience, no matter how tragic, contains a hidden lesson. And so by doing the inner work, we're discovering what those lessons are, okay? When we discover and acknowledge the gift that is there, a healing takes place, okay? And the thing about shadow work that I like so much, that I'm learning about, because I didn't know anything about it, to be honest, is that it's the repressed stuff. We've been, you repress things that have been hurtful, and we repress it. And then it gets poked at every once in a while, and we're like, yeah, because it gets poked at, but we don't know why we're rah, right? Because it poke. People are poking at our shadows, and we don't understand why we get, nasty. So, or react to it. But once you start looking at the shadows, then you can go, oh, okay, my shadow's there. And at least see it, feel it, recognize it, nurture it, the inner child stuff. Oh my gosh, I saw this video the other day. Now I'm going to have to post that one too, aren't I? This inner child video. It was like a song. And it was like an older woman looking at her inner child. It was so sweet. You can almost meditate to just watching that. And I actually could feel my inner child, like I just was like, oh, so there's something to this inner child thing. Like you almost want to have like a visual that you could just look at and be like, I'm taking care of you. Don't worry. I gotcha, Okay. So these were the other 2. Might as well read them, right? We must let go of negative thoughts and belief systems and shed the stress of negative emotions that give them energy. We have to cancel the negative programming that comes from the world as well as our own belief systems. Cool. So if maybe you heard that differently than this first message, and maybe that's a little bit of the inner, you can approach your inner work from so many different places, whatever resonates with you, whatever your intuition is telling you, Here's the other one. To be surrendered means to have no strong emotion about a thing. It's okay if it happens, and it's okay if it doesn't. Whoa. Is it okay if F45 stays in? If you're trusting God, I suppose it would be. Oh my Lord. Try getting your head wrapped around that one. Try getting your head wrapped around being surrendered. I'm into that. When we are free, there is a letting go of attachments. We can enjoy a thing, but we don't need it for our happiness. There is progressive diminishing of dependence on anything or anyone outside of ourselves. Yeah, till it comes knocking on your door, right? Oh boy. Okay, so hopefully this you found some value in this today, and I will be back, promise, tonight with a video. So I will hopefully see you 7 p.m. tonight. All right, take care. Bye-bye.